Welcome to Whips in the Dungeon 101.12, handholds. Today we're going to talk about different ways of holding your whip in grips that hopefully will improve your accuracy. But before we do that, let's review one of the reasons why we're taking the approach that we take. In adult learning theory, adults learn new skills quicker by relating them to skills that they already have learned. Things that you have hours and hours of practice with. If you love finger floggers, and I don't have a finger flogger to show you, but I have a little mini dragon tail that's designed for finger flogging. If you have finger floggers and you have thousands of hours of throwing a flogger with a fingertip hold, then you might find holding your single tail between your fingers to be the most accurate and the easiest way for you to throw your single tail. I'm not going to tell you that that grip is wrong for you because your past experience is with holding your dungeon whips this way. I'm going to show you the most common grips though, and the ones that have proven the best for me. For a horizontal hold, well, for any hold, I'm going to recommend you put the pommel or the heel nut in the palm of your hand. That kind of forms a ball and socket. Think of it like a ball and socket. So the first hold would be just a handshake grip where the V of your hand is in line with the spine of the whip. Okay, for horizontal, with a handshake hold, you'd be throwing it this way. The other alternate grip I'm going to show you for horizontal would be with your finger pointed forward. Okay, a lot of people throw horizontally like this finger here because it acts like a pointer to point the whip where they want it to go. I don't find there's any problem with range of motion with that way. So either handshake or finger pointer for horizontal. When we move over to forward figure eight or bow and arrow or off the shoulder, I'm going to stick with handshake as being fine. The other hold that I'm going to say to try is called a thumb push. You put your thumb behind the whip or on the belly of the whip. Again, the pommel's in the palm of your hand, and it's just a little rock forward. Okay? You'll find a lot of Australian sport crackers use a thumb push. I don't recommend the finger pointer grip for throwing the forward figure eight because of the way the wrist is made. You limit your range of motion when you stick that finger up. So that's only for horizontal. When you come overhand, you can do that, but you're limiting your range of motion. You'll notice most signal whips and snake whips have a wrist loop that's nice for hanging your whip. You could put your wrist through that if you have carpal tunnel, and that gives you a little more secure feeling. Some bullwhips come with a wrist loop, but the traditional bullwhip does not have a wrist loop because in the days on the ranch, if a cowboy had his hand through a wrist loop and he got his whip caught on a fence or caught on a tree limb, he could get pulled off of his mount. I like a clean pommel on my bullwhip because it allows me to rotate the whip in my hand and utilize that ball and socket. But again, with a bullwhip, I'm going to stick with a handshake grip or I'm going to use that thumb push. Now when I'm doing the forward figure eight, I usually throw handshake on the forehand side. Sometimes when I turn the whip over on the backhand side, I'll use a thumb push because the natural motion of rolling the whip out with its belly on the forehand side and turning the whip over on the backhand side, if I use a thumb push on the backhand side, it keeps the whip on its belly for a natural rollout. If I roll my hand over and use a true backhand, I'm throwing against the spine of the whip, and there's nothing wrong with that. A well-made whip will roll out against its spine. But that just shows you a couple of variations with grips on the backhand side. The big thing is try all the different grips, see which works best for you and gives you the most accuracy, and try to stick with a grip that you're comfortable with that you've used in the past. Today's key word is martinet.